Today, we're diving into a biological certainty for half the people on this planet. And yet, it's so misunderstood that it's actually putting lives at risk. We're talking about menopause and the really dangerous silence that surrounds it.
I feel that I have really become old. Now, you might hear those words and think they're from someone well into their later years. But the woman who said them, Rosie Davy, was just 38 years old.
Rosie's words, they just perfectly capture the shock that comes with this whole experience. It's a life-altering change that, for her and so many others, showed up way, way sooner than anyone expected.
So let me introduce you to Rosie. She's a mother of 4 from India. At only 38, she had a necessary hysterectomy, which immediately threw her body into premature menopause. It was a complete shock, a life event she figured was still decades away. And Rosie's story immediately brings up a really basic question. What exactly is menopause, and when is it supposed to happen?
Okay, so here's the clinical definition. Menopause is officially on the books after you've gone a full 12 months in a row without a period. It basically marks the natural end of your reproductive years. But here's what's so important to get. This isn't just some switch that flips overnight. It's a long journey. The transition period, which is called perimenopause, can actually start as early as your mid-30s. And yeah, the global average is between 45 and 55, but almost 10% of people go through it before they even turn 45.
And it's not a one-size-fits-all thing either. While most people experience it naturally over time, it can also be premature. That's before age 40. Or it can be brought on by surgery, like what happened with Rosie, or even from medical treatments like chemo. The shock that Rosie felt when she was diagnosed, well, it points to a much bigger problem. This isn't just a personal blind spot. It's a systemic failure. It's a massive global knowledge gap. Which brings us to this huge question. If this is a biological certainty for half the population, why on earth is there so much confusion and silence around it? The answer? Well, it can kind of be summed up in one single shocking number. 90%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the percentage of women in a major study who said they were never, ever taught about menopause in school. And because of that, almost half of them went into this huge life transition feeling totally in the dark. And this problem goes way beyond the classroom. It's in our healthcare system, too. Women constantly report that their own doctors don't seem to have the right training, and it leaves them feeling dismissed and totally unsupported when they need help the most. So why does this matter so much? Because this lack of information isn't just inconvenient. It has real-world, dangerous consequences. It's dangerous because without awareness, dozens of confusing and distressing symptoms go completely unrecognized. People suffer for years, sometimes with the wrong diagnosis, never understanding the real reason for what's happening to their bodies. Yeah, we've all heard the jokes about hot flashes. But what about heart palpitations? What about brain fog, aching joints, itchy skin, or even losing your hair? These are all real symptoms that get blamed on something else all the time.
Honestly, though, these symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. Under the surface, the hormonal shifts happening during menopause are setting the stage for serious, long-term health risks that way too many of us are just not prepared for.
Let's start with the big one, heart disease. See, before menopause, estrogen acts like a bodyguard for your heart, helping manage cholesterol. When estrogen levels drop, that protection fades. This is the main reason why heart disease becomes the #1 killer of women across the globe. And the risks don't stop there. They extend to our lungs. Research is now showing a clear link to conditions like COPD, and that risk is even higher for those who go through menopause prematurely. And then there's the one we really don't talk about enough, mental health. The risk for depression and anxiety spikes during this transition, which just piles on top of all the physical challenges. Okay, I know that all sounds incredibly alarming, but here's the good news. This knowledge gap can be closed, and these risks can absolutely be managed. So what can we actually do about it?
Broadly speaking, there are 2 main paths forward. There's hormone replacement therapy, which can be a game changer, but you absolutely need to talk it through with a doctor. Then there's the other essential pillar, lifestyle changes. These are powerful tools that everyone can access and are crucial for your long-term health.
4 of the most impactful things you can do: get more physical exercise,
cut back on smoking and alcohol, really focus on reducing stress, and manage your diet and weight. Every single one of those things directly pushes back against the health risks we just talked about.
You know, at the end of the day, fixing this whole problem requires a huge shift in how we see things. A researcher, Gayatri Dillon-Roley, put it perfectly. The perception around menopause needs to change. It's not the end of the line. It's another chapter. So the takeaway here is pretty clear. Menopause isn't an ending. It's a new, significant chapter in life that demands knowledge, preparation, and support. The only question left is, are we, as a society, finally ready to start writing it?